Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today we have a brand new guest speaker to the show, Adria Estribou, or Adria Wind Horse Estribou. And so I'm excited because brand new energy, brand new topic, brand new channeling and so on. And we're going to be talking about embodiment in the fifth dimension. And so, we all talk about that, right? We've been talking about that. And as Adria says, you probably heard a lot of people talk about the fifth dimension, but what does that actually mean for you as a physical being on Earth right now? Do you feel worse and wonder if you're getting it wrong? Are you experiencing physical symptoms like erratic sleep patterns, weight gain, and exhaustion? I know some of you are saying, yes, me. Why did you choose to be an embodied soul in this plane of existence at this time? And angels can support us through this often bewildering time of transition. And so on this call today, Adria is going to channel angels Raphael and Arielle, and she'll be taking some individual questions and getting channeled answers from the angels. So we're going to be getting angelic guidance about what is going on energetically on the planet right now and with our physical bodies. We're going to receive the energetic gifts of angelic presence, and we're going to receive angelic transmissions of grace and understanding. Awesome. So for those of you who may not know Adria Wind Horse Estribou is a conscious channel of angels, Lemurians, and other beings who wish to assist humanity. Adria is a sound shaman, channeling past lifetimes and universal sounds to shift stuck energies. She's also a medium and animal communicator. She's the author of 2 books, Why Did Lemuria Fall? And Slip Through the Keyhole, and sound healing CDs, Sounds of the Ancient Ones. She is a regular contributor to the Sedona Journal of Emergence, and Adria lives in Hawaii and works one-on-one with clients around the world. So Adria, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here, and aloha, everyone.
Yay, and it's morning for Adria.
Warm breezes. So. I'm guessing it's warmer here than where most of you are, so sending you some warm breezes.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. So I just want to start off, Adria, by just asking you to share a little bit about your journey, how you got to be a sound shaman, how you got to be channeling angels Raphael and Arielle, and whatever else you would like to share with us since it's your first time on our show.
Sure. Well, I fell in love hard with meditation when I was about 18. And I had this experience. It was like discovering that there is such a thing as love and finding it, having it all satisfied in the same moment. It was great. It was just beautiful for me. So the quest in that sense was very short. I found what I was looking for before I knew that I was looking. And so since then, I've been kind of a spiritual junkie of sorts, living in ashrams and meditating a lot. And that's just, what I do for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And through that journey, even after some decades of meditation, I felt this just dis-ease, like I'm supposed to be serving in some way, and I don't know what it was. I just felt this kind of discordant, like, why am I here? Why did I come to this planet at this time? And the answer that came through for me was something with my voice and healing. And I thought, okay, well, I still don't know what that means. I don't see myself being, I did sing, but I don't see myself in that lifestyle of, rock star. That doesn't seem like to fit. So what does that mean? So in the next day, my email was Sound Healers Intensive. There's a few spaces left. What's sound healing? So I went to this workshop, this 10-day workshop. And in the course of practicing what was the vowel tones for the chakras, the exercise they were teaching, all these other sounds started to come through my voice. And I was blessed that at the moment that happened, I was surrounded by this small group of people who could see energy and see what was happening. So right away, I got this feedback about what was happening with these strange sounds that were coming through my voice. And that started the journey of sound healing for me, being a sound shaman. And maybe 5 years or so after that, after I began practicing as a sound shaman, I could tell that words wanted to come through, which I resisted for a long time. But, I just sort of felt this like, hello, we'd like to say something.
Nice.
And so that's the kind of the long and short story of how I came to be a channel, and mostly a group like this, it's angels. I do channel other beings, like Lemurians. But my physical body, since we'll be talking about that today, my physical body can only take about 10 minutes of Lemurian energy before my mind is just no mind for the rest of the day. So
Oh,
I don't
wow.
do long channeling sessions with Lemurians for that reason. So the books that come through are in little short episodes from them. But the angels, my physical body seems to be able to hold that a little bit longer. Still not all day, but a little bit longer.
Awesome. Thank you. And it's so exciting to hear how, it organically developed, kind of organically developed. I mean, you did do the work of meditating regularly and, all that wonderful stuff. And then you got the signs, right?
Yeah, it's just that intention to be of service, I think. And I've come to recognize, I've done something like this in many, many lifetimes before. So it wasn't an accident, but I did have to come into alignment with it again and learn why I'm here this time around. It's been a beautiful journey.
Awesome. Thank you. So I wanted to mention really quickly, because I forget, I get caught up in the conversation, but if you do have a question for Adria, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. So I know that you're going to be taking some, questions from the callers later, Adria, right?
Absolutely.
So do you want to just tell us what types of questions, so that people get an idea beforehand of what types of questions, you can take?
Sure. I think the only limit is it's for your highest good. I'll put that filter there. Otherwise, anything goes.
Awesome. And, and this call is only like an hour and 15 minutes. So, awesome. Or, an hour and a half, whatever. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And so I want to talk about, this whole thing that we're talking about lately about the embodiment in the fifth dimension, what that is. Yeah. And most specifically, I really do want to touch on the point of right now, the energies right now, a lot of us, including me, we are experiencing erratic sleep, weight gain, or not being able to lose the weight, exhaustion. These are things I was thinking of earlier, and I swear to God, I didn't read this when I was thinking about this. Like, I'm so tired. I want to fix this. It's like this. Like, I'm always tired. I have all these aches and pains, and I've done so many different things, and nothing is working. It's like, what's going on? I'm not sleeping lately. And as I'm reading this now, it's like, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, it's quite extraordinary. And, for me, as I said, I've been meditating since I was a teenager. So I was used to a kind of an even keel by now in my life, both emotionally, physically. And boy, we hit this energy in early 2018. And it's like this wild roller coaster ride. The highs are so high and the lows are so low. And physically, for me, I've had a lot of days recently where I literally can't do anything. Like reading a book is too much doing. Watching a movie is too much doing. So I will, and sometimes meditation's too strong. I'm already kind of oversaturated with the energy. So I just lay on my floor. I mean, it's just been wild, and just kind of witness the energy. And I was thinking, just before we got on the call, of when you travel and you have a bottle of water, partial bottle of water on the airplane, and it gets kind of like this by the end of the flight. We're taking our bodies with us higher in a sense, but we're taking our bodies with us into another dimension, mostly fifth for humanity, but other dimensions as well. This is really unprecedented. Before maybe people could visit other dimensions in meditation, or they knew how to astral travel, but that's not bringing the physical body to another dimension. It's something else. And I'm sure there are people who knew how to do that too. But generally speaking, let's say this is really new.
Yeah, for sure.
So the physical body, I think especially for those of us who are so used to being in the subtler energies, this is something really new to feel it so much physically. Like what's happening now, the physical body has to adjust to these higher energies so that we can sustain that and live in that. So it is a very, very physical time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, waking up in the middle of the night or sleeping. I mean, yeah, sleep is all over the place. I personally have felt, like these 10-day low level kind of migraines, and like
Mhm. Yep. Exactly.
just not very functional, honestly. Thankfully, there seems to be grace in my schedule at the times when I need it to just allow that to be.
Yeah.
But it's, sometimes you expect that if you're on a 4-day retreat or you've been meditating for 10 hours, but maybe you don't expect it when you just haven't done anything but eat cereal, or just suddenly you're like, whoa, what am I seeing here? What's going on?
I'm so glad we're talking about this because, it's like this is all the stuff that I've been experiencing. And it's like, I'm not crazy, it's like, and it's like, all right, I'm integrating, trying to keep it calm and keel and continue to do my work. And it's exactly like what you're saying. Some days, I'm barely functional, it's like, yeah, I have to walk my dog. But other than that, it's like, it's like, I've been lucky that
Yeah.
on those days too, I haven't had a heavy schedule, right? But it's like spirit knows as well when to do this. I feel like saying do this to us, but it's like our schedule aligns with what is going on, and so then we have the time to
Yes.
just chill and relax if we need it, right?
Yeah, I finally came into peace with that. Boy, did I struggle with this for some months here because it's disorienting. And I think, without being a control freak, we do like to be able to control, hey, I can do the dishes right now, or hey, I can drive right now.
Hmm.
And when that sort of feels like it's not in my control anymore, I had to really come to peace. Finally, I realized, wait a minute. After all these years of meditation, paying money to get into certain states of awareness, am I really complaining about being in no mind for a lot of hours a day, so much so that I can't function? And then I just started laughing. And then I just saw the joke and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
I get it. Okay, I'm on board now. So, whatever needs to happen,
Yeah.
I understand it's positive. And yeah, when they talk about being and not doing it, it's pretty literal, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you
It's
can only be, and it's like, all right. I always say, take it as a blessing, when stuff is going on like that, take it as a blessing. It's a good thing. It's like, all right, bring it.
Yeah, it's not a concept. All of a sudden, this, living in the moment and being and not doing is become very, very real for me.
Yeah. And maybe that, this is part of what is occurring to align us or help us to get into 2020, even though the energies have already started, right? But this is about
Yes.
us recognizing that, it's not just about the doing, it's also about the being. And how do you integrate the two, the being and the doing?
Yes, there's so many layers here, and I think a big one is physical, but also the way I understand it, and I'm not a scientist or someone who knows intellectually about the different dimensions. I'm just suddenly curious since things are so different. What's happening here? So I
Hmm.
can tell you what I've observed and what the angels have told me about it. Dimensions to me are these different fields of existence with different operating rules, let's say,
Hmm.
like cause and effect. So part of it also is getting used to how easy it is. Fifth dimension as sort of our primary new dwelling place. It's very sweet, easy, sort of daydreamy energy. It's very different than the struggle and the kind of push through linear 3D. So it does take getting used to because it can feel kind of spaced out if you're not used to that energy. But once you get acclimated to it, it's so sweet to just realize, oh, I just think about something in a sort of wistful way, and then it appears, and then it's really sweet. So yes, part of it I think is getting us used to how does it work in the new
Hmm.
ways of being. And again, I don't want to limit us to fifth. I don't think that's true, but I use that as kind of a shorthand because a lot of
Yeah.
people are talking about that now. And the
Fifth or
physical
higher,
body, yes.
right?
And the physical body has a lot of acclimating to do. The same way that if you were to hike Everest or something, you don't just get airdropped there. I don't think that I don't think the body would
No.
like that anyway. Let's pretend that's true. That you don't
As
get
you're
the
going
breath
up, you have
there.
to acclimate at different levels, before you can go right
Yeah.
to the top. You can't just go right to the top. You have to acclimate at different levels as you go.
So the angels have said that's very, very similar, like so similar that it's almost indiscernible in terms of what's happening for our physical body. We have to acclimate. So sometimes you can go so far, and then you hit that point where you've got the migraine or you can't sleep or you're sleeping too much, whatever. Your body's like, all right, this is it for now. I got to acclimate here. And then you're ready to receive more and acclimate more.
Right.
But really, really be compassionate with yourself and with your physical body at this time, instead of yelling at it, like, what are you doing? Why are you so fat and lazy? And, get with the program. Well, the body is doing an extraordinary, unprecedented dimensional jump here. So I would say,
Right.
get your mind, get with the program, and just let the body, do its thing. It's quite
Yeah.
tremendous that there's so much
Exactly.
grace
Oh my
there.
God, I love it. And I know that so many people are experiencing that. So hearing you talk about this is it's a relief, and
Yes.
that's how it feels. Like it's a relief. It's like, good. It's like there's a reason for it,
Yeah, it's like it's not just me or it's not just you. Wait, I thought I knew how to meditate. Am I getting it wrong now? I went through all these
After all these
phases of
years.
why am I so emotional? What's happening? Because there's a lot of emotional, clearing and adjustments happening too. So for me, that's been a big part of it, and just processing and being with all those layers as they come up. So yes, it is relieving to hear someone else say it, because you're like, oh, so it's not, we tend to take things personally. I think that's a human
Yeah.
condition. When something feels bad in our body or emotionally, we just think, oh, what's wrong with me, or what did I
Or
eat,
what
or
did I do wrong? Right. Yeah.
yeah. But we're all in this huge collective, energy happening right now, that it's not so personal to you. Yes, you're experiencing it, but it's not because of something you did, except for signing up and saying,
Existing.
yes, take me higher, please.
So why did we choose to embody at this time?
Oh my gosh. Well, freedom is what I would say. So the angels have been talking a lot about how we've come into this time of, again, unprecedented for humanity, freedom. And the time frame they give is approximately early 2018 is when this really began. The shifts are still ongoing, and yes, there will still be astrological events, but from angelic perspective, and they're not in time, so their perspective is a little different from ours. Freedom has already happened for humanity, so we're here. In whatever you want to call it, new earth, new age, like we're here. It takes some adjusting, getting the physical body here. A lot of layers of density are dropping off, ancestral density, our own density. So we experience that as it's leaving. But it's not that there's more battles to be won or struggle in order to get there anymore. We're already here in freedom. So I would say, why are we here collectively? I know for me, like, wow, I don't want to miss this time on earth for anything. It's so, as painful physically and emotionally as sometimes it is right now.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. So if you're here right now, it's probably you were probably helping in getting the boulder over the hill for us to get to freedom in the first place.
Right.
And just to be here to enjoy it, to see the change. Because another thing the angels have mentioned is, generations from now, once we come out of this, what feels like a rockier time, or we're more in the, light, where we can absorb it and feel comfortable in it, those future generations, that's going to be normal to them. But for us to feel the contrast of coming from 3D to 5D, or whatever words you put on that. Yesterday the angels were saying, let's call it the suffering planet and the joy planet.
Yes,
So
I'm
to
all
feel
for the
the
joy planet.
contrast.
Yeah.
So if you're here right now, I'd say that's part of, probably why you chose to embody here in this lifetime now, is to feel the contrast, to feel that coming from.
I feel it. I'm done with it too. Like, I'm good. I felt the suffering. I feel the joy. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want
I
to go back
understand the
there.
contrast. Don't need to learn more from it. I know, it's like we're laughing about it only because, honestly, it's because we have suffered so much that we know, you know, that we've
Yes.
come on to the other side of the suffering and now can experience the joy. So we experience both contrasts, right? And so some of us may have experienced more suffering than joy. So just wait, just it'll catch up. You know, there's always a balance, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not linear. It's not linear. So it's not like, well, hey, that channel lady said we came into freedom and I don't feel it. I must have missed it. You know, so don't go into panic here if you're not feeling either any of these crazy symptoms or the occasional bliss moments. You know, it's not linear, and as much as it's collective, it's also how much, yeah, your guidance system and your body wants at this time. It's fascinating. I don't know how that works, but I know for sure it's not linear. There are waves of this,
for
and
sure. Oh
you're
yes.
you're in it.
Yeah, I mean, I can
You're not
definitely
excluded.
attest to that. Yeah. And we all experience those moments of bliss, those moments of joy. And to be honest, those moments of joy are actually greater than those moments of suffering. If you really tap into it, you know, sometimes it feels like the suffering is longer. Yeah. Right. But the joy and the bliss that you experience, you know, you forget the suffering, you forget the pain, you know, it becomes irrelevant after a while, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just a part of the process.
yeah. I don't know why it is, why there is the pain, why there is the adjustment, but yeah, I finally stopped doing battle with it myself. I don't always love it for sure,
Yeah.
but I stopped having that expectation, that I personally am going to have such a timeline or accomplish so much during this time. It's like, isn't it enough to come into freedom? Isn't it enough to shift to the fifth dimension? Isn't it enough to be in this time, extraordinary, unprecedented time, and to just, I personally came to a moment where I could drop that frustration of, oh, I didn't finish editing that book chapter, or whatever it is, well,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. It's not that relevant, you know, because when you're looking at the
Yeah.
bigger picture, you know, we are all here collectively serving in some way. For those of us who are here on these types of calls, you know, we're all serving humanity, the planet in some way, and ourselves, right? In some way. And that alone, just having that awareness, um, that can sometimes lift you out of the heaviness that you may be experiencing, right?
Yeah, I think we were both distracted with a message about the echo there.
I don't know, Karen. Anybody else having problems with sound, or um, if it keeps cutting out, it might just be your internet. Okay, that's all I can say. So Julia says everything's fine. Good. Um,
Sometimes log off and jump back on. That sometimes works with Zoom.
yeah, yeah, and I remember you having that problem before, Karen. So yeah, definitely jump off and come back on, and it should be better. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about, you know, what the angels are saying about, you know, how can we now move forward with ease with everything that's going on energetically with the planet and with our physical bodies.
Yes, and if it's all right with you, I think I'll open for a channeled message to come through. So we just hear it directly from them
Sure. Yes. Awesome.
instead of the recap. So I'm a conscious channel, so I'm still here, and my voice changes a little bit, but I'll always let you know which angel is speaking or if it's me again. This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. In times of unprecedented change, one thing to understand, we would say the primary message for today is things are not the same. It seems quite simplistic. Angelic messages are often simplistic on the surface, but if you look into the layers of it here, what is the friction there when you're feeling a physical discomfort or you're feeling an emotional wave and you don't like it? The discomfort is, this isn't what I'm used to, this is a change. And so the judgment is there. This is quite natural as a response to change. The judgment is there I don't like it. It's different. It must be something that needs to be fixed or solved.
Mm.
In this case, certainly at many times in your life that was true. If you had such a stomach pain or a headache, it did need to be fixed or solved in some way, or maybe you're eating something that didn't agree with your system. But if you're going through those checks now, and maybe you've been to the doctor or not, or however you usually check in with your physical self, and nothing is resonating that there's something to be fixed there, then it's time to look wider, and so wide that you're, beyond this planet, looking down and see, oh, almost everyone is experiencing this today. So this is something else. And we can tell you from angelic perspective, the changes, the waves of change you are feeling here are not simple. The reality is simple, that what you are experiencing is change. But for the physical body, for the conscious being that you are, to adapt to so much change is similar to if you were suddenly going to live on Mars or somewhere else where everything is different. The climate is different, the light is different, the way you sleep is different, your friends are different, your thoughts are different. So it is a time of profound change. And just to be aware of that is a huge first step in alignment, because it's not important for you mentally now to understand why exactly things are happening the way they are, or to direct it. You don't have a checklist and you're not saying, okay, today I'm going to realign my nose for fifth dimension or whatever it is. It's just happening, right? You had the free will to say, I want to ascend, or no, thank you, I'd rather stay in the comfort of what I know of third dimension. And that is certainly, certainly open to you. So for those on this call, let's assume you had chosen already, in whatever words you had chosen, that you want to ascend. So that is really all you need to do as a conscious being at this time on earth, is to choose, do I want to stay in the familiar, because that's really where I feel I am best served the rest of this lifetime? Or do you want to move on? And if you want to move on, it is going to be a time of change.
Mm.
Again, it sounds so simplistic, but that is what we want you in your heart to hear. It has to change in order to change. And it's not going to be like this. The rest of your lifetime here is not going to be the roller coaster or the physical discomfort. But it's the transition. It's the rocket ship landing. It's quite bumpy. It's quite safe at the same time. You don't need to worry that you have to recalibrate or get it just right, or you won't enter into the dimensions you're supposed to enter into. It's quite free and quite simple from that perspective. Your intelligence systems, those that are guiding this transition, are quite locked into where they need to go. You don't need to worry in a mental sense that you're going to get it wrong, or that if you didn't meditate for 20 years already, you're not invited to the party. Everyone, every single human is invited to this party, and not all humans will take the invitation. And that is beautiful also. The humanity has free will in an unprecedented way they have never faced before. So honor that too, your neighbors, your friends, your family members who just say, this is too weird, I'm staying here. Honor that, because their dimension does have its gifts. It has its, you have been reaping those gifts for your lifetime up until now, until just recently, many, many gifts of learning and growth. So those are still available in third dimension. And those who choose to stay are not going to perish because they stay. They're just going to have a different kind of dimensional awareness and experience than you are as they grow in this lifetime.
Awesome. Thank you. Absolutely. And it's so funny, or not funny, but as you were speaking, as you were channeling Raphael, I could just feel the waves of energy coming to me. It was really, really nice. It was really beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful. I'm glad you can perceive that. Yes, it's more, I finally asked them about that, because I feel that. I feel their presence very strongly. It's more than just words for me, but I began to get feedback from others, and it does, you're not obviously not in the same room as I am, not the same state or country even. But the angels did say, oh yes, it's, for a clear channel, it's a transmission of energies also. So
Yeah,
I don't know how that works
palpable
with time and space, but you're receiving more today, even if you're not energetically sensitive to perceive it. There's more coming through than just the words. So.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So, so with that message from Raphael, it's about recognizing that everything is changing and it's going to continue to change, and that's a good thing. I've always said change is a good thing. I remember I always said for myself, change is my middle name, because everything was always changing, right? But as I'm changing, I'm creating new experiences. I'm opening up to new experiences, new awarenesses. I'm different every time, right? So it is a good thing. And so for me, it's become quite normal to be in this energy of change, and when I'm not, then it feels like, oh, I'm bored, I'm stagnating, nothing's happening.
You probably won't be feeling that way too much in the next few years.
Yeah. So it's like, because I get bored quickly, fast. So the energy of change is not a bad thing. Change is a constant, as we all know, and it can bring new experiences, new awarenesses, new blessings, and new gifts to the surface for you if you are willing to allow it and receive it, right?
Yes. Yes, and speaking of change, there's suddenly a very loud rain and wind, so I might get up here and close my windows if it's distracting. Can you hear it on your end?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, if it becomes distracting to anyone, let me know and I'll get up. And
no,
there's a kind of a gale going on off screen here.
No, we can't hear a thing. Yay, good.
Okay, good.
So, all right, so go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask if anybody had any questions for you or for the angels,
yes.
Ask away, because it's like, sometimes we don't even know what we don't know that we want to ask until we ask it, right? It's a weird thing. It's like there's something bubbling. I don't even know what it is, but if you just blurt it out, it'll come out, right?
And in this time, we think our questions are so personal again. And this time, often there's a lot of us feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that I became so curious about what's going on here, because I was channeling before the big energetic change, and the messages that came through at that time were more individual for people about their life path and things going on energetically behind the scenes. And that's still the case. And yet all of a sudden I would get, 20 people in a row that had almost the same message, or a group message that would really match what was happening in my experience. So like, wait a minute, what's happening? So suddenly the collective energy is so strong that questions or experiences we're having, it's, I would say, a lot more likely that a lot of people have that same question right now.
And I'm feeling like right now is a time when a lot of people are going through changes, or, they're questioning, what's next? What's the next step? It's like, I'm not really sure right now, but something is coming and I don't even know what it is, but something is coming, right? Something is building right now.
Yes.
Right? The energy is building of some sort, and they don't know what it is, but there's something coming. So perhaps somebody would like to ask about that. Anybody? John, you got a question?
So, Adria, I've always been interested in sound and spent some time in radio, and I've been told that I have similar qualities to my voice that I am I've been told this, I'm not aware of it, similar qualities to my voice as to what you've described in your voice. So how can I make better use of that? What's coming? What's on the horizon? Please and thank you.
It seems like you're going to get two answers here, so I'm going to start, and then we'll have the angels will chime in. um, so for me, it's been through practice, both through the shamanic sound and through channeling. I learn because it happens. Like, as I was just describing about the energy transmission of angels, it's not that anyone told me or I read in a book, well, this is how channeling works and here's what's going to happen. You know, the angels are going to transmit energy through you. But it became so obvious that that was happening that after a while, and I did, you know, I have the nice side benefit that I can get clarification from the angels and hear a concrete answer. So now I feel comfortable in saying, oh, in the promotion for this call, you know, you will receive angelic energies. But I didn't say that in the beginning because I didn't know, right? So the same with the sound. I learned how it works for me, and why I call it shamanic sound is, for me, I saw the energy of past lifetimes moving, and there were a lot of spirit animals. So it just became quite obvious. Well, this, no matter what I call this is shamanic. And for a while I was scared of that word for some reason. Now I love it. But so through practice, through allowing it to come through for friends or however you're comfortable, I think that's how you learn what your gift is. It's different than what we're taught, right, in school. It's like, I think when you have a gift like that, that's just is already part of you, but you don't know what it is yet. The way I know to learn what it is to use it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just becomes obvious what it is, and then you can put words to it instead of the other way around.
Thank you.
This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. Your gift of sound is meant to be shared, certainly, unless for some reason in your free will and your heart you wish to hold it back, and you do have that free will. But there is, from our perspective, this storm of sound just waiting to burst out. It's a little bit pent up right now because there's so much of it that wants to be shared outwardly. So you might feel in the beginning it is a little too forceful for you, and you worry about that. But it will calm down once it's had a choice, a chance to escape here, to get free and start the energies flowing. Then it's not so much like a dam bursting, you know. Then it's just the rushing river or the trickling river, more gentle, pleasing sounds, perhaps. But in the beginning, you might experience that it's quite forceful, quite strong. And that is just because there's been so much of it waiting to be released here. So you don't need to worry that it's too strong or too much. If you want to practice on your dog or yourself first, as those energies are so strong, you might want to try it that way.
Just toning?
Yes, at first, and it is, you are similar to this Adria, similar and unique creatures of this kind of sound through the voice that is, carries with it geometry and crystalline energies. So for both of you, you had this role in other lifetimes of transmitting knowledge this way through sound. So that's why using it is important. Thinking about it or knowing about it is one thing, but the expression of the sound itself creates the geometry and the healing. So thinking about it is nice, but it doesn't create that for the other being you're encountering.
Okay, so thank you. So just basically start toning.
Yes, and they have a passive, so inside my head, you know, you don't see this passing with a baton. Okay, yes, Adria, you answer this. They kind of prompt me. Can you talk about that thing? Remember the story about the chocolate bar? So this is not that story. Sorry, I got everyone thinking about chocolate. Yeah, for me, I just started toning and and the sounds that came through were very wild for me too at first. Planetary sounds, animals. I didn't really know what they were for a long time, and now it's for me, when I make sound, it sounds a little bit more like crystal bowls or flutes, like what I describe as kind of a circular sound. It's got that quality to it. So I would say just experiment. You could start with toning or sounds that you know, and then let other sounds come through. Don't censor it, and just see what happens.
Thank you
Because
very
there's
much.
some part of you that knows and it doesn't come through the mind. And that for me was very disconcerting at first, of being highly intellectual in my youth,
Mm-hmm.
and childhood. And now yeah.
I see you smiling, Alara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
So
doesn't
don't
come
think
through
about
here.
it anymore, John. Just do it.
Thank you, Adria. Thank you, Alara.
You're welcome. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So there was a question from Sandra. So Sandra is saying exactly that. What is coming into my life? So I guess she's feeling that something is coming, but she's not sure what exactly. So exactly that. What is coming into my life? That is a pretty vague question, but we'll see what Adria has to say.
This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. So what is coming for you, dear, is the same as what is coming for most. So if you're listening to this message, this is likely your answer as well. What is coming is free will. And this is quite disconcerting if you're always used to being told what to do. We'll use this analogy. As a child, perhaps you thought you had many choices, but now as an adult, you didn't have that many choices. Maybe it was this shirt or this shirt, not unlimited from the universe. What do you want to wear or be today? So you come now into quite a field of the unlimited. So even those things that you used to feel for you personally now were physical limitations that were going to define the rest of your lifetime on this planet, those have fallen away. And you might not have recognized it yet because your habits and your belief system keep you living the way you always have. That's one of the nice functions of the mind. You don't have to reawaken to the world every morning and figure out how it works and who am I in the world and how does my body work. You have kind of an autopilot there that's based on repeating what you know. So when you're repeating what you know and the rules change, in this case, you come into freedom and unlimited, you might not catch on right away and you might live a more limited existence than you need to because that's what you've known so far. So that's why for us, for angelic beings, it's so important to tell people right now you are free. That's our main message. But then it takes some understanding. Well, what are you talking about? I've always been free, or I don't see any chains here. So this is what we mean. You come into the unlimited, but you have to practice it. It's not that you need to master it. It's not that you need to feel into which path is right for you. You really can play and just practice and experience what it's like to have free will. And that is what is coming for you. So when you have those thoughts, well, I have to choose between A, B, or C because of my physical limitation, in your case, it's time for you to look again because that was true 3 years ago and it is not true now.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you, Sandra. Let us know how that feels for you. So Joanne, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hello. Hi, Joanne.
Thank you, Lara, for taking my call. Thank you, Adria. I have a question. I actually got to Adrian at another point where the angels told me that I was a healer, even if I didn't know it. So I'm hoping to know it and come into it and to better understand. I feel like I do have a number of gifts, and one might be sound and also writing or touch, or to see if there's any guidance into, what might be primary. Otherwise I might try doing too much and then not doing anything at all.
Yes, this is Raphael, Angel Raphael. So for you, we would say not primary, but first in the lineup in terms of the flower unfolding here is to pay attention to the palm of the hand, the energy in the palm of your hands, and how are they perceiving the world. So for a little while here, just play this game, and we don't mean every minute, every hour of the day, but when you want to tune into this, play this game of perceiving the world through the hands instead of the eyes or the ears or some other sense. And we don't mean either that you need to go around, touching all of the walls like that. It's not touch. That's a different piece of the hand here. We're talking about the energy, the perception of energy in the palms. So perceive the world first that way. And once you become a little used to using that as a tool of perception, when you're near the physical body of someone, you're going to start noticing something interesting about how different parts of their body are perceived differently by this part of you. And then experiment with, it works for animals, plants, and humans through you, so you can experiment as you like with those you're close to or familiar enough to see how that works then is not just perception, but how can you change the energy. And we don't want to give you too much specific conceptual guidance here to lock you into a false concept about how this works. But if you start perceiving first through that area, then you notice what's different in some part of the body. It's not going to work as well on your own body to perceive where it's different. But for others, it'll be quite clear. Oh, something's different here. So then what are the options? And just play with that. It's not your only gift. That's why I said it's not the primary one. But if you start with that one, it's going to help guide you to the mix here of 2 or 3 gifts we see you kind of interweaving in any given session with a client once you start down that road with clients. So this is a good the first petal opening here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Joanne. We look forward to hearing more about what you're going to do. All right, we're going to go to Nikki. Nikki had a question. She said, I have been experiencing a very strong feeling of a big change coming, but it's been 10 years now, and so far nothing happened. Why do I feel this way, please?
I think your dog has something to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. Well, were you wrong? We think not. It is a little bit like those who predict, a coming war or a tidal wave, but they do so 17 years before it happens. So then so much self-doubt comes in, and doubt from others, certainly. Well, they've been predicting this one for a long time. But we would say for you, there was something in your soul that wanted to say, no, this is big. This isn't just big. This is, this is why I'm here this lifetime. And it is that large, this change, and we're here. So it's not a change like you get a new house or that kind of change. You can have that also, of course, in your unlimited play field here. But what we see in you is this perception, this recognition of the moment in history, in human history that you're in, which is quite vast, big enough that you did see it coming 10 years ago. And it wasn't always certain, but we have reached the moment where it's past certainty. It's already happened from angelic perspective. And again, humans in time and other creatures in other dimensions experience the unfolding of it a little differently in different moments, let's say. But from angelic perspective, it's so past the point of inevitability now that it's here. We describe it as in the now. So you were right, we would say, about this change. And you don't need to look for a small change like the chopping down of a tree or the moving of a house to validate that for yourself. You felt this coming and you were right.
Thank you. We're going to go to Maria. Maria, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hello?
Hi, Laura.
Hi. What's your question?
Hi. I think she just answered it. I wanted to know what I was feeling, but I feel like I could move tomorrow, but something come over me, and I think it's just that shift. And I just wanted to know if she sees anything else from the angels, because I feel so grounded and excited, inspired to do something else.
Yes. I'll speak first. This is Adria. What's happening for a lot of us right now, you talked about moving. The energies on Earth are also shifting quite a lot. Some of you might have heard of, and I don't know, I don't follow it very closely intellectually, so I might get the terms wrong. The energy centers, the poles of the Earth, the grid lines, all of that is shifting. So what used to be, you know, certain power centers or vortexes are now different places on the planet. And that's an ongoing thing that's happening now. So there might be, for some of you, geographic places, geologic places that used to have a real strong resonance, like this is my home, I need to be here. Speaking personally, I'm in this moment myself where I no longer feel like I need to be here, and I'm probably moving physically in a few months because of that, you know, just recognition, oh, this isn't where my energy fits anymore, this is new. But this is also happening for many people who have, let's say, been practicing Reiki for 20 years or been in a certain profession for 30 years. Suddenly there's this kind of disconnect from what we've always known, or this feeling like, oh, I don't even know if I want this anymore. Okay, so the angels are going to pick up this thread from here, passing the baton. This is Arielle, Angel Arielle. So, yes, you have such complete freedom now that we don't want you to feel locked into even your concepts of what has felt so wonderful and what your goals and aims have been, your wishes for all of these 30, 40, 50 years, however long you've been here.
Yeah.
Just because you wanted it so much then in the context of bondage, you know, in the context of a very different earth, doesn't mean you have to want it now just because you can have it now. You also get the freedom to try out other wishes, and playfully so. You don't have to decide, oh, well, I need another 20-year plan then. You can just make a 2-day plan or a 2-hour plan and see what comes through for you as feeling joyful and delightful, and play with the energies that way. So moving, yes, we see that for you, but you don't need to feel rushed about that. It becomes quite obvious. So first is maybe that inkling, I feel like I'm moving, or I want to move, but I don't know what that means yet. You don't have to figure it out in an intellectual sense. You don't have to start making lists of city centers and what the pros and cons are. You can wait until something becomes a little more obvious. Oh, what about this place? Or I just had this dream, or someone mentions a name and you get that spark. I think that might be it. I think that might be where I want to move. So it happens in a much more playful way now. But yes, change. Don't be limited by what you wanted so much. Just because you can have it now, you know, you can have it. Or you might get it and then decide, oh, it's not quite what I wanted. But we're suggesting just skip that whole step entirely, the disappointment step. Just recognize now, oh, I really think my wishes have changed. And that's quite natural when you've come into this whole new landscape, as we've spoken of being suddenly on somewhere like Mars instead of Earth. And we don't mean that literally, but that much change.
Right.
Of course, what you want in that context is going to be new.
Okay. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you both.
All right, we're going to take 1 second. One more question here with Karen. Karen had a question. How do I stop feeling other people's negativity, please? I used to be social, but now I'm quite isolated by choice because of this. So what is my purpose or step forward, at least? So a few questions there, Karen.
And this is Raphael. Well, ask yourself this question on a very, very deep level. Why would I have come in with this skill set of being able to perceive negativity so strongly? How is that a use to me? Because for many years you've been watching this through the lens of how hard it is for you. and retreating from the joyful, positive parts of human nature as well in order to filter out this negativity, to create that distance between yourself and the possibility of perceiving negativity. One is your gifts are getting stronger now as these planetary energies increase. So the bad news is here, this isn't going to work for you anymore. Isolation, physical isolation, is not going to keep you from perceiving negativity. So what are some other options or things you might try then? Because naturally you're gravitating away from wanting negativity. And we understand that you don't want to embrace it as your life experience either. So what do you do in the recognition that you're very sensitive and that that sense is heightening? Are you going to move to Alaska? You could do this, but then you know you're going to start experiencing the earth, and she's having tremendous shifts right now. So this isn't a gift that you run from, we would say. This is a gift that you recognize now. It's time to grow up into recognizing this is a gift, and a tremendous one. So when this feeling, perception of someone else's negative experience comes up, instead of running to get away from it, please move into the question, why is this a gift right now? Why is this a gift? And that question is going to open a new world for you in this. Because in running away from your gift, you're blocking a movement of energy which is quite natural and much, much easier on your system. If you can begin to ask what is the gift in this, it becomes much easier for you. It flows through in a way which you will at last finally be delighted about.
Beautiful, thank you. So let us know how you feel with that, Karen. So there's a question from Falcon. What's the best way for me to regard, what's the best way for me to contact my guidance team? When I download by writing, I either forget what was said or have trouble following through on it, so it feels pointless. I don't seem able to make good use of it. Does it accomplish anything? Should I try to do it as light language, which bypasses the rational mind? But how useful would that be either if what I need is understanding?
This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. Here you are in this bridge moment, which is interesting because some of the days, you know, the physical human system is in, and this is collectively in the third dimension, and some of the days it's in fourth, fifth, seventh, and so on. So this method that you were using of writing down a message for your mind was a more direct approach in third dimension, because in third dimension, the mind is the captain of the ship. In fifth dimension, the heart is in charge. In other dimensions, there are other nuances there, but we'll speak about these two since primarily you and others will be living mostly in fifth. So how do you speak to the guidance system from fifth then? Instead of listening in the mental space, it might still come through with pen and paper, but instead of listening in the mental space and trying to understand, ask for a message that the heart can understand. And that some days that will be light language for you, and some days it will be a written message that the heart gets so completely that the mind, you know, doesn't worry anymore. You also need to give permission to the mind to take a back seat now because it's struggling to keep up. You're some days very much in the heart space in the fifth dimension, and the mind, you know, freaks out a little. Wait a minute, I'm captain of the ship and I don't know what's going on. What are the coordinates? So this is this disorientation of not being every day in third. So give the mind a break, let it know it's okay. This isn't your ship today. and metaphorically speaking, and ask for the guidance to come through in a way that the heart can understand. And then you're going to feel, yes, more at peace with Some days you might really need that mental message and you can ask for it that way. But most days here, since you're moving into fifth, that's going to have a more direct resonance for you.
Awesome. Thank you. So Falcon says thank you. Say awesome. All right. So I just want to take a moment before we take any more questions to just take a look at the special offer that you have for us today.
Oh, great.
So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. And those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Adria10. And I will share the screen in just a second. One sec. So you can see it too. All right. So so this is Adria's special offer, package A and package B. Package A is $78 and package B is $199, and package B is limited to only 10 people. So Adria, do you want to talk a little bit about the two packages?
Yes. So I had spoke a little bit about our collective experience now. So in both of the packages, there are these two bundles that are video and transcripts of what the angels have been saying, that are around some themes that are pretty universal right now. So the first one is It's Time to Receive. And that's a combination of video and audio and transcripts about, well, how does it work now in fifth dimension? Maybe you'd learned about manifesting or doing or other ways it worked in 3D. So this is really concrete and practical examples of how does it work in 5D when you want something. So it's about receiving the clues in the title there. And there's a lot of beautiful, very, very practical advice about how that works now in a much more effortless way. And the second knowledge package there is about what are angels. So if you're curious, like me, well, what exactly is an angel? We had all these concepts, and beautiful sculptures and so on, but what really is an angel? What are their functions here? And how can I communicate personally with angels? Because not everyone is auditory like I am. So how to communicate and call upon your angels, and something about angel numbers in there too. So again, a mix of audio and video and transcripts. The next piece that's in both packages is called The Light Comes From You. And that is monthly. I hold these live angel channeling calls. And the topic is very different depending on whatever the angels see for us in that moment and who is on the call. And this one was a particularly deeply meditative call that really goes into your inner light. So it's a recording of that call, about an hour and a half long. And then you have the option to participate here in two of the live calls. There's one coming up in November and one in December. And there will be group messages and also time to ask questions, either on the phone or by the chat or on your computer. And that, I believe that's all that's in package A. It's quite a lot there. And package B has all of that plus a 1 hour session, angel channeling with me. And I did just open up some more time on my schedule tomorrow and in November, so you wouldn't have to wait too long for that. Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a little bit about what a 1 hour channeling session with you looks like?
Yes, you got a little taste of it here with people who asked questions, but really it can be very specific to your life and your life circumstance. And now the rain is very loud behind me. I don't know if you can hear it yet.
No, it's okay.
I'll just speak up so I can hear myself. Some people just say, I just want to know what the angels have to say, and the angels will speak for a full hour, very, very detailed about the energies for them and what's going on. So you don't necessarily have to have questions, but if you do have questions about your life and different circumstances, whether it's work or family life or your gifts, the angels can give more insight about what's going on with you personally. And it's that shift of understanding. And what I've seen again and again in myself and others is with the understanding of what's happening comes so much peace and relaxing into accepting the grace of what's there. But it's not just this, oh, okay, I have to accept what's in my life. Somehow understanding it, it's kind of radically transformative. It's the best way I can say it.
Awesome.
It's so helpful to really know what's happening. It just,
it's the
it changes
clarity,
something.
you know?
Yeah.
Awesome. So those 2 packages are available at alara.at/show/Adria10. Package A and package B. Package B includes everything in package A and is limited to 10 people only. Okay, so please do take a look at that. All right, so there were some questions came in while we were talking.
Great.
So there was a question earlier on, I missed it, and from Laura, and Laura was asking if there was any message for her today. It was vague, but I thought, okay, I'll still ask it. Everybody knows I don't like vague questions, but
this is Arielle. Angel Arielle, for you, Laura, it's a time to receive. You are so much the mother, the earth mother in many, many ways to many plants and children around you. And you know how to give, you know how to be the nurturing soul. Your next life lesson is to learn how to receive also, and that doesn't need to be one or the other. It doesn't mean cutting the cord to all of the life-giving you are doing. It means the water runs both ways. It's time to receive as well, not instead of, as well.
Awesome, beautiful. And that is a great message for everybody, you know, for all of us. Yes, it's time to receive. Absolutely. And there's a message from Destiny. We'll just say Destiny, it's easier. Destiny says, I'm going through a form of initiation or awakening, but it's a very dark time where I'm literally peeling one layer of darkness after another, having a hard time believing I chose this. What lesson am I here to learn?
This is Raphael. Many, many people are perceiving it this way just now. And again, taking it very personally and thinking, gee, there must be something so dark in my own soul to be uprooted here. Understand, it would be helpful for you to zoom out a little and understand that humanity is shedding not just our personal layers of density, many of them. Humanity is shedding through this transition to the higher dimensions ancestral trauma, ancestral density. You have chosen not to take it with you, which means the generations to follow and in your own lifetime, 10 or more years from now, you're going to have this lightness of being that humanity has not ever experienced before, because you've been carrying around quite literally the baggage of your ancestors, the trauma of different wars, Holocaust, slavery, all of that trauma. You carried it forward as one way of learning. But now that's being shed. So what you experience is layer after layer of density. It's not just you. Not everyone is perceiving it, but everyone is receiving this gift of shedding the layers of their ancestral trauma. So you don't need to worry that it's something so dark within your own soul. It's that we are in so much celebration that we decided to leave so much behind that we really don't want to experience anymore. So it is a celebration.
Awesome. That's a beautiful explanation. I love it. Thank you. So Karen has a follow-up question to her question earlier. And she says, thanks, I will try this, but it can cause neuralgia, occasionally migraines and or nausea. So that is why I feel it is so difficult. So can I ask what the gift is, please? And maybe it will make it easier.
This is Arielle. If you were told this answer from the outside, it wouldn't resonate as true for you. It's something, and it's a brief moment here. We're not talking about a 20-year experience, but it can't be shortcutted. It does need to be experienced from within you, because when you ask yourself this question and answer it for yourself, again, it might happen in 2 minutes or 20 minutes after this call. It doesn't have to take 20 years. When you just sit in silence and listen for that answer from your soul, you are going to blossom into something so extraordinary. If we tell you some words, it's going to hit here in some concept level. But if you ask yourself that question and grow into that gift, it's quite an instantaneous shift for you, and not something we want to steal from you or tarnish by saying some words into your head.
Awesome, thank you. And a question from B. Marlin. What is your and the angel's interpretation of the feeling of giant wings opening from my back? Is it connected to the dreams of lions and my physical world encounters with hawks and animals? Is this all trying to tell me of the path I'm supposed to take?
This is Raphael. Future and past here are a little intermingled, but we would say primarily, particularly in dreams and in physical, visceral memory like this, it's more about your past. So you're coming a little more in alignment. This is a little technical, but you might have heard people speak about parallel lives, parallel universe. Let's use this terminology often used, although it's not technically accurate. The veils are quite thin now. So what you're perceiving is different pieces of you and what you might call the past, and we would say maybe parallel yous. So you don't need to sort it out conceptually, but you can just welcome that you're coming into a time where you have much, much more access to all of your gifts and your different life experiences and different parallel tracks, let's say. So there can be communication there also when you're communicating with in the past, in other lifetimes, the future also, but just right now for you, it's a little bit more playing in the past because of how much shedding humanity is doing. So you're in that vein. So we would say, don't try to push so much into the future just now, that will come. It's not just others that you communicate with in the past lifetimes or on behalf of other people. You also can communicate and commune with your own self, your own selves. So again, you don't need to understand it, just welcome. It's not a moment of going crazy, and it's not a moment where you need to try to control or understand it so much. And just allow that you're more in contact with these different parallels.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Let us know how that resonates for you. I mean, we have talked about parallel lives, before on these calls. So it is something that we're familiar with, not just the past and future and present, but also the parallel lives. So awesome. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Did I miss anybody's question here in the chat? I'm not even sure. We're good. All right. So, so what else would you like to share with us today, Adria?
Yeah, if we're kind of near that time, maybe I'll see if there's like a closing message or energies and see what wants to come through from the angels. This is Arielle, Angel Arielle. So we spoke in the beginning of this call about change, and we want to come back again into just feel so subtly in yourself, just in this moment, how much more accepting you are of change. And that is the gift of this call, of this moment, to receive change instead of putting a wall around ourselves. Receive the change that is here, because it is quite transformative, it is quite brave, but it's not hard. It is a gentle, gentle time of receiving and letting these energies, even those darker energies, those physically discomfort, those waves, letting those wash through, because the more you are open to receive them, the more gentle it is on you, the whole experience. Sometimes in wrestling with these energies, you hold on to them a little bit. Let's say it was a lion. That's a nice metaphor to use. It was just passing through your living room. And you could just, maybe feel a little fear and awe, but also just see the splendor of it. And then it just passes through. But what if you thought, oh, I better do battle with this lion, and you jump on top of it and you're wrestling and you get scratched and it stays there for 3 days because it's like, wait, I was just trying to go over there. So let these things pass through. You just receive them, watch them happening. They're not meant to stay with you. They're not right now. In this time in Earth's history and in her history, it's time to just watch these things pass through. And sometimes they're going to pass through your physical self, emotional self, visual self, third eye self. But you don't need to wrestle with them, battle with them, understand, hold on to them unnecessarily. Just let it wash through. And that's going to be the gentlest way to receive the change you're in.
Beautiful, thank you. And is it possible to receive a healing from the angels as well?
This is Arielle. Yes. So the healing is not limited to a time when there are not words. So there have been for many of you some moments on this call, and this applies to those who listen later, where you might have felt some opening, some little shift into tears, or just a breath of relief. So the healing is not limited to some moment when it is announced, and now there is healing. But since you have requested it, let's come into some healing. And this is Arielle and Gabriel dancing here. And just, we would like you to perceive in this moment as a game to take us out of the mental space, the seriousness of spirituality. We would like you to focus on your nose and receive healing there. On behalf of your whole spirit, on behalf of your whole energy system, your full embodiment, all of your parallel lives, we would like you to receive, to be open to receive. And this is your free will moment. Do you choose to receive it or not? We will not force any healing upon you. But whatever healing you want to receive in this moment, it is coming for you, into you, into all of these layers of your existence, through angels, Arielle and Gabriel in this moment. I love how the angels are so playful.
And the funny thing is, it's like when you're focusing on your nose, you might perceive, other stuff, as well, right? So, yeah, and you might still be perceiving. So continue to receive, and even when you're receiving, like we always say, don't try to control the outcome. Don't try to control the healing. Just be open to whatever you experience, right?
Yes.
Just receive. Because, the tip of your nose is not any different than any other part of you. It's all you, okay? So, awesome. Thank you. I felt a lot of energy or shifting, changing in both my third eye and in my heart chakra, were the two that I noticed right away. But as I'm talking about it, though, I'm also feeling it in the back of my chest. So it's like it's still moving. So, and my throat has been a little raggedy today. Or during this call, was not before. So I was like, yes, just continue to clear, let it go, whatever happens to be. Right. So just receive. Awesome.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. And
it's not limited in time. So if you listen to this again, or you're watching it 3 days after it happened, you didn't miss it.
Exactly. And next time you listen to it or watch it again, you're going to most likely experience something different. So, recognize that too, be aware of that too, and just receive, right? So I just wanted to bring your attention again to the special offers that Adria has for us today. Package A is $78 and package B is $199, which includes package A, and it's limited to 10 people. So definitely take advantage of that and get your 1 hour personal session with Adria and the angels and see what's coming up for you, you know. See what else is possible. What can you change, you know, now, and what can you be into now, right? So yeah, beautiful, you know. And that's it is about the being, you know. What are you willing, you know, just be you and see what happens, you know, without the walls, without the restrictions, without the yeah but right? No excuses, just be, right? So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful questions. You know, it's always interesting to hear, you know, the answers, you know, and the answers were not just specific to the person asking the question. If you really tap into it, you will find a message for you as well. Okay, so the messages are actually universal and relevant for everyone if you're willing to receive, right? So thank you. So thank you so much, Adria, and thank you, Archangels Raphael and Arielle and Gabriel, for being with us and sharing. I definitely felt their energies as you were speaking, so not necessarily just when you're doing the healing, but, you know, as you were doing the channeling as well. So, and before the call started, you know, so I knew it was like, yeah, here we go. So
beautiful. I'm so glad.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, definitely go run and close the windows where you are, because if it's still raining, you know. But, you know, and again, that's also a beautiful energy when it's raining. It's like, you know, it's like a cleansing, it's refreshing, it's energy moving, you know, so allow the energy to move for you as well. So thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody. It is Friday, right? So have a great weekend. I will see some of you on Sunday in the prayer circle call. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.